Hello, I'm procrastinating and working on Game of Shrooms. So Game of Shrooms is an event where people hide mushroom-themed art on a specific day, leaving some clues for people to find them. And I guess I've been putting off making my entries here. So what I did was I took some of these offcuts from my papers, you know, the thin pieces that come off of the papers when you're cutting down pages for your journals and whatnot. And I folded them in half and poked two holes and put some thread in there and just tied a quick knot. So I've got a couple of these thin collections of pages that I thought would be able to resemble the stalk of a mushroom. And I have some of these papers here, and my thought was I would cut out the shape of a mushroom cap, put them on top, and glue them together. So that was my vague idea that I've been putting off. I guess I should start off with maybe the largest one here. I'm just going to fold this in half. And my thought was I would cut two pieces that were the same shape, front and back, and then glue them together. And could be pretty wide here, and I think I want it to be a bit deep so that we hide some of this and still have some of this mushroom shape at the top. So mushrooms can be all sorts of whimsical shapes and colors. I think that the natural looks of mushrooms tend to be even more fantastical than some of the things that we are imagining in our depictions of mushrooms sometimes. So I'm thinking that I could do something like this and glue that in there and maybe decorate the mushroom caps once I've got the right shape in place. So that was a vague idea I was working with here. And my thought was you'd have these two pieces. I'd glue this into here and then glue these two together and have like a little fold at which that would make it easier for me to get open this up. So it'd be like this, and it would open like this at that point. That's my vague idea. So maybe I'll glue it together first, and then I will do a little bit of decorating once I finish getting these ready. So I heard about Game of Shrooms from Ann Kenlin, and I wonder if this is just a big Oregon thing. I mean, we're very, we've got a lot of fungus around here, so definitely hits home. But I wonder if this is something that is pretty popular in other areas, or if it's just an Oregon thing. I don't actually know. Since I'm procrastinating, I haven't signed up on the website yet, so the idea is you'd open it like this. So this would stay attached here, and this would open without having to worry about, creases on the top point. So what was I thinking? I was thinking black, silver. I guess this would be white. So this is a white gel pen that I was recommended by Sandra at Blossom and Inspire. And why am I doing such a little tiny pen? No, I should not do that. I should go with a big fat white Posca. Hopefully this mushroom will look better than the one that was on my art journal that I made recently, which really wasn't doing it for me. I haven't figured out how I might want to fix that art journal. So I don't know if I'm going to decorate the back. I was thinking I would just sign the back and leave it undecorated. So we'll go with this and leave this to dry for a little bit before we glue it together and sign the back. So that's one mushroom cap. And then one of the popular mushrooms in Oregon is the morel. So I was thinking I would do an homage to that in that shape. So I just got to make sure that it's big enough that it would cover this. And it's kind of like a tall-ish mushroom. It's got kind of like a ovalish top shape, and it's bumpy. I haven't looked at my morels recently, so this is going to be interesting. Hopefully I can get this to look okay. I wonder how far I want to make this go up there. I guess it could be pretty deep in there. That would be fine. And then I could round this out a little bit more. All right. So then, how deep would I go? Maybe something like that. You could use a scoreboard. You could use a bone folder if you want to, but I'm really just eyeballing it here. Just trying to make sure that we have something that is, you know, reasonable and not too off kilter. Although, if it is off kilter, that's not too terrible either. That's okay. So, please let me know in the comments. Do you like mushrooms? What's your favorite mushroom? What's your favorite mushroom recipe? I was just watching a bunch of food videos and I saw a lot of mushroom burgers. I do like mushrooms in my burgers, but at the same time, you can only get so many mushrooms in your burgers before it gets too slippery. I mean, you'd have to cook those mushrooms down pretty well for it not to have a tendency to pop out there. So yeah, nice sautéed mushrooms in a burger works well for me. The thought was it would go in there, and even if it was off kilter, that'd be okay. So here, like I said, I don't really know what a morel looks like these days, but maybe I'll go with like doodle of bumps. Who's to say that this isn't a realistic looking mushroom? And there are so many different kinds of mushrooms out there. And then my thought was I would add a little bit of this brown on top. So I saw that this brown didn't look great like on its own, so that's why I wanted the black on there. But there could be some combination here. Just having fun doodling these mushrooms. Well, if it doesn't look like a morel, don't tell anybody. Just let them know that it's a, you know, a fantasy mushroom of some kind. How's that? So we'll let this dry as well and cut through my third one. And then we will glue these pieces in here and sign the backs. So, all right, here I think I'm going for a, you know, like a wizard hat kind of thing. Something that looks a little mystical, a little whimsical. Something that I could, you know, shape down if it doesn't look quite like what I was hoping for. So it looks more like, I don't know. I think this could work. How far can this go? That could go pretty deep. Go pretty far up there. Righty. And I guess one of the questions I have is, how will I want to label this as Game of Shrooms? If I want to put it on the back where I put my signature, if I want to have like a little sticky note or something, I don't know. So, and then here I was thinking we would go with a little bit of silver dots, silver stars. How about silver stars? I don't know if I've ever drawn a silver star, so let's see. Does that look sparkly enough? Does it look super goofy? I don't know. Here's our sparkly mushroom. Yeah, I think that if I didn't have the motivation of Game of Shrooms, I would not be having this much fun tonight, even if I was a little intimidated and putting it off for a little bit. So, a little bit of sparkle. I think I could add a little more sparkle on top of that once it dries a little bit. We could give the cap lip a little bit of, maybe I will open up this edge and have the edge of the cap be colored, perhaps. I think that would be fun. I think it would probably be smart if I went like this and got serious about getting that done, but I think in the near future I will have a short video talking about my really ratty craft mat here. Might be worth mentioning. But as ratty as it is, it cleans up really quickly, so that's really the whole point of that thing, right? So here we have this one, and it's pretty plain looking mushroom. I don't know, maybe I should give the mushroom a bow tie or something goofy like that. I need to do something. Now, would it make sense to glue the top and the bottom in, or just the bottom? Maybe gluing the top and the bottom would make more sense and give it a little more stability than it currently has. And maybe gluing on the top would be easier to do that first. I don't know, since the bottom is folding or unfolding. So I don't want to shove it too deep in there because I want there to be some room for flexing. All right. So that's just a fun, goofy mushroom. I think I am going to make a little, try to figure out if I can make a little bow tie or something. Maybe not silver, maybe black. Does that look like a bow tie, or does it look kind of like a bone? Well, all right, I'm going to stop messing with this because I don't want it to look worse than it is, but that was the idea, having a little bow tie on my mushroom. I don't know, we're just playing around. Got this one. We've got our morel. The dried brown paint there is looking a lot better than I expected. So we'll take this guy, we'll glue it in there, we'll orient it and glue it in there. Maybe not as deep as all that. Okay. I don't know if it's because I live in Oregon that I like mushrooms as a concept. Oh, I am leaking out of my bottle. I'm going to have to address that in a little bit. I must have not sealed the cap well enough. I guess I will deal with that right now. I was trying to clean out my cap, but apparently I cleaned it out a little too much because now I've got a little opportunity for the glue to be leaking out, which is unfortunate. Oh well, we got that one, we got this one, we've got our shiny magician's mushroom cap here. Hopefully you can use it to cast some good spells. This one can probably go a bit deeper in there. Yep. Well, I don't know if anybody else is going to appreciate these, but I'm having a whole lot of fun with these. And I have some ideas about where I'm going to hide these tomorrow. So hopefully somebody in the Salem area will find one, or maybe 3 people would manage to find one. That would be really cool. And I guess I'll be dropping hints on the Game of Shrooms day when I drop these off. one looks a little too sharp. All right, that's cool. That is cooler than I expected. So maybe I'll go with silver. And then this is Game of Shrooms 2026. Oops. Ran out of room there. Yeah. Silver pen's a little on the thick side for this. All right. I hope that other people are considering taking part in this event. I intend to do it so next year unless I procrastinate too much, you know. That's always a possibility with me. There we go. And then one more. Shrooms. What a great concept. I wonder how related it might be to Game of Thrones. Would not be surprised if there was a overlap between Game of Thrones nerds and mushroom nerds and artists. So here are my 3 mushrooms. I have a couple ideas about where to hide these. I also have another journal that is actually, this is actually a, believe it or not, this purple thing is a mushroom. We did not sell it at the library store, so I thought I would go ahead and put this out there in the wild for somebody to pick up as a free mushroom themed journal. And happy hunting, guys.